Hi, Elle Ingalls here at pressure-free.com, and it is Independence Day in the United States of America. I have a story about some independence first before I dive into trees instead of tea, the real reason for colonists wanting their independence from England. But morning, we have some renegade roosters. If you've seen my post, I'm about to come up to one right now, and the owners are trying to trap it in a cage, but I'm going to turn this around so you can see my rooster friend. It's really amazing. So these guys have been claiming their independence for days now. Do you see it running down there? I'm trying to catch up to it, but it's running away from me. These guys really want their independence. 4 roosters are loose here in near the nature center. I don't know who they belong to, but there's one guy just scampering away over there. Yes, they're trying to trap him over here. Yeah, there's 4 of them. So back to the trees. So in 1772, there was something called the Pine Tree Riots in New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, what would become Maine. And here's what it was all about. When people first came to New England, they couldn't believe the stature of the trees, these beautiful, incredible white pines. And they were so straight and perfect for masts. So the king sent over the king's surveyors, and their surveyors came and they marked trees with a particular symbol. And as a child growing up in New Hampshire, I clearly remember my father taking us deep into the forest to see the king's mark. And we actually saw a white pine with the mark of the king on it. It was probably 1960, 69, 70, right in there. So imagine how old that tree is. It was marked during the colonial period for a king's mast and never taken down. So here's the deal about the trees. Any of the trees that were marked by the king's surveyors with this mark, the colonists couldn't use. They had to be harvested specifically for the king, specifically for masts for the British Navy. So, of course, these are amazing trees. And if you were found with that you cut down one of these trees, there were serious penalties. So the rebellion in 1772 was really the beginning of colonists saying enough is enough. These are the resources that belong here on this land. And it's really trees that were the impetus for the beginning of the American Revolution. Not tea, but trees. And if you take a close look at Massachusetts' flag, the flag that was first created when the colony Massachusetts became a state, they created their flag, you'll see a white pine. You'll also see a white pine in the Great Seal of New Hampshire. I think there's also one in Vermont. So the white pine symbol was really just really important. The idea of resources being taken away from the people who were working the land and living on the land. So I just thought I'd share that today because it's Independence Day, and I kind of claim my own Independence Day as April 15th, 2010, when I realized the tyranny of stress hormones. And that was the beginning for me of really understanding that I was not in control of myself. When I was under the influence of stress hormones, I was really stuck in things that I didn't understand or know because of what the stress hormones do to the brain. And so in 2010, when I created Pressure Free and started using it on myself, just to be able to have your brain really work for you is pretty amazing. Brain health is something I really, really care about. It's probably one of my highest values. And this past year, I actually got a brain health certification with Dr. Amen. You may be familiar with him. He's the author of the Daniel Plan. And I've learned so much about the human brain by going through his course and then doing more research on my own. And to know that no matter what situation your brain is in, currently, through action, you can actually have a healthier brain. And one of the top actions for this is to not trigger the fight or flight stress hormones. Fight or flight stress hormones destroy so many things that are going on in the human brain. And to actually start to reverse that around is amazing. So I'm so happy that a friend of mine, Vinu Keller, who I had on my parenting conference, said to me, Elle, you need to take Dr. Amen's certification course. I'm like, okay, let's do this thing. So now I have, if anybody is interested, if you want to take the brain health assessment and then schedule a time with me, I can go over it with you and help you start to create a plan to get your brain healthier. It takes some commitment and determination, but I changed my diet in a day when I learned this information by going through this course, because again, my brain health is one of my top priorities. So if it's important to you too, to have a healthy brain, to have less mental illness, to have less worry, less anxiety, the pressure-free method is one of the first things you need to do, first things you need to really dive into, so that you stop releasing stress hormones, because they are the major culprits to your brain malfunctioning and to you not thinking as cognitively as you can. You're going to be in your fear brain. You're going to be activating parts of your brain that are not particularly healthy to overreact with all the time. And not to mention what the stress hormones do to your cells, to your actual neurons, to your skin cells, to your organs. They cause all chronic disease. So if you have any disease, if you're taking medication for anything, either mental wellness or physical wellness, you need a medication. Stress hormones are wreaking havoc with that. So that's why you can't get rid of it. If it's chronic, it means it's going through time, you can't get rid of it. And the reason you can't get rid of it is because stress hormones are keeping it happening in your body. So I've helped so many people go into remission from a lot of different things. And truly for me, I just claim April 15th, 2010 as my Independence Day, when I finally got out from the tyranny of what stress hormones were making me do. And I see my friend Sherry's on here. So nice to see you. If you're watching the replay, thanks so much. Feel free to share this out. A lot of people don't know about the King's Mark and the trees. And it was a memory I've kept all these years from when my father took us out to see one of those. And I wonder if that tree is still living and still there. It would now be very, very old. So have a great pressure-free day, everyone. Love you, Sherry. Bye.